Hello, everyone. Thanks for stopping by Travel Ruse Hop into Australia YouTube channel. Tonight, we begin a series of Zoom chats with different people, venues, and businesses in Australia. Tonight, we welcome my friend Danny Marshall, who plays Australian rules football for the Western Bulldogs AFLW side. Let's bring Danny on in. Hey, Danny. Hey, Danny.
Hey.
Danny, thanks for joining us on Hop into Australia. We're here and we're excited to have you as our first interview on our channel. So how are things going down under in Melbourne?
Yeah, I mean, there's still a little bit of stuff happening, but for the most part, we're still in lockdown. So just making do with what we've got. So,
Take it, training's probably a very difficult thing to do right now with the limited gym access.
you mean no gym access?
No gym access.
Yes. Yeah, it was rough for a while. Recently got my hands on a few heavier weights, but yeah, gym's not exactly easy when you don't have heavy things to lift.
Well, I'm sure you're making do down there. So you were the first United States woman to sign a AFLW contract. Can you tell us a little more about the journey, how it started, how it feels to be a trailblazer for girls and women in the United States who play Australian rules football?
Yeah, obviously a pretty crazy story because the Australian rules football isn't really big in the US at all. Just kind of happened to come across it on ESPN when it ran it for a few years in 2009. And then a few years later, my roommate who had watched it with me got recruited to play in Houston. She texted me and was like, "Hey, I remember watching this with you. Like you should play." So yeah, I started officially playing Australian rules football in 2018. Just a series of circumstances there through the USAFL. Met some people and decided to come over to Australia and give it a try. The people had some contacts at the doggies and yeah, ended up having a trial with them and I guess I did okay because they signed me as a rookie and played the 2020 season, I guess, earlier this year. Obviously, that ended a little bit early, which is a bummer. Um, but, you know, being the first woman to play, from the USAFL to come over and get signed in the AFLW is really cool. Hopefully, yeah, it gives hope to other women that are playing in the US or any other smaller groups of women that are playing that, if you're passionate about it and you love it and you're willing to, buckle down and take a risk that anything is possible.
Definitely, definitely. In the 2019 United States Australian rules football competition, you were voted bestest and fairest on the grounds and won a national championship with the Arizona Hawks and the Lady Hawks of Philadelphia. How did it feel to be evaluated by your peers to be the best in the competition in the United States?
I don't. I won MVP of the finals, but I don't think I won best and fairest for the Division Two competition. Um, but I won it the year before, so I guess we can count that.
Yeah,
So I won best and fairest for Division Two in 2018, but we didn't win. And then in 2019, when we combined with the Philly Hawks, the Baltimore Dockers, and the Boston Demons, we ended up winning Division Two, which was really awesome. Um, but yeah, I mean, it's the umpires that vote, so that's pretty cool usually, because especially the first year I didn't really know them, and then last year in the finals, I guess it's just nice to be recognized for your hard work across the field. Going into that game, it was a tough fought game on both sides, so I think there were a lot of people that could have rightfully been given that one. So
well, congratulations to you on that one. So you're currently going into your second season with the Western Bulldogs. How are you preparing for the upcoming AFLW season with the current COVID-19 restrictions that are currently crippling Victoria.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely not ideal. You only have, so much time to go do things and there's no gyms and all that kind of stuff. But I mean, you can always work with what you've got. You throw in some yoga, you throw in some skill sessions. I have a bounce back net, so that's been really nice for handballs and ground balls and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, a typical week pretty much looks like 3 running sessions, 3 weight sessions. I usually do 2 skills sessions with a teammate and then a few kicking sessions with my husband, and then do probably some yoga and stretching on top of that, plus some film sessions each week. So, I mean, you can definitely stay busy. I probably, on the busy weeks, I'm still probably putting close to 20 hours in a week, or more, depending on how motivated I am that week, I
Yeah,
guess.
yeah, it has to be tough with having the current situation that's in Melbourne. Pretty much everybody is stuck to their houses and can't go too far. Um,
Yeah.
so, looking at recent reports, the AFLW is considering a bubble scenario for the upcoming season. What are your thoughts on a bubble scenario for the AFLW season?
I mean, I guess I'm still hopeful that February is a long time away and that restrictions on travel in and out of Victoria won't be as bad, and that possibly there won't be the 2-week quarantine coming in and out of Victoria. If it is still there and we do have potentially have to do a bubble system, I think it would be really rough. Just there's a lot, like, it's obviously very different than the men's. It's more like the men's was 30, 40 years ago when everyone's working part-time, and we don't have the flexibility that the boys do necessarily. A lot of people have full-time jobs, they're teachers, they're police officers. I think taking that time off, not just monetarily, but just the time, would be really difficult for a lot of the women. Our team probably would fare okay just because we have so many, like, we're looking at having potentially 14 girls under the age of 22 on our team, which means they're probably just, I mean, they'd be doing uni online anyways. They could keep doing it. A lot of them don't have jobs that they couldn't get a week or two off of, so we'd probably be less affected maybe than some of the other teams. But it'll be difficult if that's what it comes down to. It'll definitely be difficult. It'll definitely stretch commitment to women's footy on a lot of levels, from playing, from the players to the staff, because even most of the staff is part-time, so they would have to leave their jobs or something, figure out a way to do it if that does become necessary. It's possible. I guess I'm glad they're giving us, they're treating us as a professional sport where this is an option. They want us to stay safe. They want the season to run. They're prepared to make that happen. But it also is kind of hard when they don't treat us seriously in other areas. Um, so we'll have to see, what kind of agreements can be worked out, how much compensation we'd end up getting, how long the bubbles would end up being. If it's 2 or 3 weeks, maybe it's possible. So we'll have to see, but I'm just hopeful that the travel restrictions in and out of Victoria will be gone by February.
Yeah, we definitely hope that as well here at Travel Real. So, building on your what we consider to be a successful season for you, what are you doing to improve upon that really awesome season that you had last year? Getting your first goal on your first kick. I mean, can you tell us a little bit about that feeling of getting that on your first AFLW kick in your first game? It had to be incredible.
Yeah, I mean, it's always amazing when you kick a goal anytime. To be honest, I didn't realize it was my first kick. Like, I was just playing and running around, and when I came off the bench, Berkey, our coach, was like, "Oh, first goal, first kick." And I was like, "Oh, really? Like, I didn't have a kick before that? I guess I didn't." So, um, that was pretty funny just to, realize that I wasn't even aware of that. But yeah, I mean, it's amazing to see all of your hard work, um, kind of result in something tangible, kicking a goal, being a part of team success. Um, you know, I love team sports. I love the feeling, when all the girls get around you and are excited for you. So I think that was a really good feeling of just, being able to contribute to the team and seeing all the hard work and dedication pay off.
Yeah, and I mean, as your teammate back here in Arizona, I know a lot of us were extremely proud to see you kick that first goal and have a successful season. Uh, so, I mean, what are some of the stuff is that the team's working for, getting you guys prepped for the upcoming season?
I mean, a lot of it is honestly just staying fit and just being mentally ready to come back into the season and train. The fitter we are, the less time we have to spend running around in circles at training. So just making that a big priority to come back in the season ready to go. So there's no delay, I guess, in doing the things we want to do because we're not fit enough to do them. So that's one. And then just for me personally, I just haven't watched the game long enough or been involved and played enough games to really have a good sense of what's going on at all times, which is frustrating because as a midfielder in soccer, I could tell you where all 22 players on the field were at any given time, what direction they were running, and who I was going to pass to next at any point in time. And footy is, I'm just not that subconscious yet. So that's frustrating for me as someone who is playing a sport at a high level and then comes to a different sport and just just hasn't quite clicked yet. Some of those little things. So just spending a lot of time watching game film, analyzing the women's game, analyzing the men's game, looking through all of our game film, other teams' game film, and just kind of being a student of the game for me, I think is really important to feel comfortable coming back out. And then just talking to coach about, there are different game styles, there are different game plans. What is that going to look like for us? How can I help? How can I fit in? What can I be mentally prepared for? So, yeah, just kind of trying to stay mentally in it. Um, we recently got news that potentially they could classify us as an elite sport instead of a community sport, even though we're kind of on the edge, I guess, technically speaking. So we might be able to start training together sooner than like local sport would be.
Nice. Yeah, it's good to see that Australia's slowly progressing towards having the same equality on the professional level for sports over there that the men are at. So we're excited. Hopefully that works out for you guys. That'd be an awesome thing for women's footy and women's sports in Australia. So that kind of progresses into our next question for you. So the AFL finals are getting ready to come up for the men. We have to ask you, what is your prediction for the 2020 premieres?
Oh, geez. I mean, it's hard. All the teams have kind of had some interesting ups and downs along the way. It's hard to ignore Port since they've been on the top of the ladder since day one. And Ryan and I, if you want to call it bandwagon fans, we've been bandwagon fanning, I guess, a little bit for Port. But some of their wins haven't been as dominant as some of the other teams' wins have been. So I think I would definitely put them in the grand final. Um, at at this point with Richmond if it sits how it's sitting. But I think Geelong has the potential to sneak in there um, to the grand final as well. So I guess we'll see. I know you want me to say Brisbane, but my heart doesn't want to say Brisbane. But it's hard. It's hard to go with anyone that's not in the top four based on the season. There's been a lot of fighting for the last 3 or 4 spots in the 8, but I don't reasonably think you could pick anyone that's outside the top 4 at this point. Obviously, as a Bulldog, I'd love to think the Bulldogs could sneak in and then take it like they did in 2016. 2020 is the year where anything's possible, so I will be behind them heart and soul as they try to make their run, but we'll have to see what happens on Sunday against Frio first.
Yeah, definitely the Western Bulldogs have been making a surge there in the standings, in the ladder, I should say, for all of our American fans. Yeah, so we're definitely it would be cool to see for the Western Bulldogs to sneak in there. Those final two spots are looking to be pretty intense this weekend. Obviously, I'm a Brisbane Lions supporter. I love my guy Charlie Cameron. So really hoping for a good year after what 2020 has brought. And I guess the exciting news.
And having the grand final at the GABA. I mean, if they make the grand final, you got to think that they'd be favorites to win it at home. But we'll see.
Yeah, they're definitely in a good position to have two finals at home. So as I've said, I think last year we had the opportunity where we really could have had our opportunities to get into the grand final, but with having the grand final at the GABA this year, and it cuts me deep to the heart that I can't be in Queensland this year for the grand final. It's one of the most greatest venues I've seen. But the MCG obviously takes the cake in any footy grounds in Australia, just because of the grandeur that it has, and it almost kills every attendance record in the United States for any major sport here. So it'll definitely be interesting to see how that turns out. Travelroo has actually just secured an interview with the GABA folks after the grand final. So we're excited to talk with them down the road. So it'll be exciting. So you're coming up on your first full year living in Australia. How do you like life down under, and what are some of your favorite things to do?
I mean, currently, I'm really blessed with where I live. So I live in Aberfeldy, which is in Essendon, or in the Essendon area, and we live right by the Maribyrnong River, which is just gorgeous. So luckily, we're still able to get out and take walks along the gorgeous area of town that we're in. It's pretty wonderful to be in an area that isn't just city. It's like 200 meters down the hill from my house to go down to the river. So that's been a really big blessing, to have that area to go and walk around and just be outside and not feel like you're as cooped up. So that's that. Before lockdown, I really enjoy public transportation, so I love just hopping on a tram, going out into the CBD, walking around there. Yeah, and then just checking out all the different, like, there's a lot less like chain restaurants here, so just all the mom and pop cafes, totally different menus everywhere, just a lot of different things to check out is really, really fun. Um, and then we were hoping, yeah, to get up to like Brisbane and travel around Australia a bit, so that would have been fun. So hopefully next year we can do a little bit more of that. But yeah, Ryan's lucky, he's working, so that's been good for us. But yeah, overall we really like it. We've found a church here that we're pretty involved in. I do some volunteering with them to stay busy.
Very nice.
So yeah, we've tried to find a good little community throughout the year here, and are really enjoying it.
Are you adjusting well to just the difference in pace, I guess, in Australia versus here in the United States? I feel like we're hustling and bustling to get everywhere. Find there's a little bit, it seems to be a slower pace. Things are more relaxed, I want to say, from my experiences
Yeah.
in Australia. Is there any favorite spots you got there in Melbourne and Footscray and those areas that you are in town for training with the Bulldogs?
Um, Not like specifically in particular. I'm a huge fan of like op shopping or like thrift shopping, so I know where all the thrift stores are and those places. They're closed right now, but when they open back up, I will be there. But no, we don't really go out enough to find like one specific spot, I guess, or one cafe. We usually just try a different one every time because there's so many. We do like There's the Union Hotel, which is down here in like Ascot Vale, which is right next to us. And we really like them when they're open. They have really good food and a fun footy kind of atmosphere, so we enjoy going there. They have some pretty good specials. That's probably one of our favorite places to eat. We need to. And then again, on the river, there's a lot of fun restaurants. So like the Boathouse is one that people like to go to a lot, right on the river with a nice patio and stuff. So that's a good one to go to as well.
Now, speaking of Aberfeld, that's actually kind of where you got your start, I believe, playing a few games for them in, I can't remember the exact name of the league, but that's
The
kind of where you,
EDFL.
EDFL, thank you.
Yep.
So you spent a couple games there, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. Uh, is it kind of cool to kind of back, I guess, be like full circle back to where you kind of got your start?
Yeah, it's been really nice. Even when, the AFL was out of season, we ended up not having the VFL. Aberfeldy was still training, so I was able to go out to some trainings with those girls and keep up the relationships. Really good club, really good atmosphere. Ryan even went to a few of the guys' trainings before lockdown hit. Just really enjoying getting involved in the community. So yeah, it's nice to be back. I played two seniors games and one reserves game for them just for kind of fun when I got here. It's really good to be around the girls when I can and hopefully be a part of that for a long time.
Also, I guess before lockdown, if I remember you in a conversation with you, you signed a contract to play some soccer.
Yeah, I mean, it's not quite the same level. It's more of like a community league, but still quite competitive. Two trainings a week with some games, but unfortunately, we never got around to the games part. But made a pretty good friend on that team named Gabby. She lives pretty close, so we'll go train together sometimes since we're allowed one other person to run with. So really good club, the Essendon Royals. Unfortunately, um, yeah, unfortunately with the timing of everything, this year won't work out. But since the VFL is going to be aligning with the AFLW season, it looks like I could potentially play soccer with them um, the next soccer season, at least for part of it. So that might be a good cross training once footy's over.
Yeah, you were a former standout athlete in Colorado at the Mines College of
Colorado
Technology,
School of Mines.
Colorado School of Mines. Thank you. I'm
Yep.
sorry, it's a little off on that, but so
Yeah, right. It's a small technical school, so it's not an easy one to remember.
yeah, you were a standout athlete there. So you have to think that those skills help you, especially on that first goal. It's kind of like a soccer kick in a way. I can't remember your teammate that kind of came off with the bounce, and you just were happened to be right there and slotted it right into the goal. So um, those soccer skills are definitely translating over there for you, it seems.
Yep, definitely helpful. Kicking on the right and left is pretty helpful as well, so that's been a nice skill to have.
Has it been easy to adjust to the style of kicking? Um, as the in a sense the punting style kick. Uh, is it has it been easy to adjust to the faster speed of the game over there?
I mean, it's similar speed to soccer, I guess, when you're up at the high levels. Obviously, there's no tackling in soccer, so a little different desire to get rid of the ball sooner. Um, but yeah, no, it's the kicking style, kicking on the run with more of a drop punt than on the ground is obviously pretty different. Just took a lot of time and a lot of practice. Ryan and I would go out almost every day for an hour and just practice the new kicking style when we decided I wanted to come try out. So just takes time. It just takes time and effort to get it there. But luckily playing sports my whole life, my body's developed a decent sense of muscle memory. So I retraining it to kick like that hasn't been too hard, I guess. Like it still took a lot of time, but you know, your body adapts if you're willing to put the time in.
Most definitely. Um, well, we obviously wish you, and we know you have a little bit of time here before the AFLW season starts, but here at Travel Roo, we wish you the best in the upcoming season, and we look forward to your continued success in Australia. And from all your Arizona Hawks, we want to say we miss you, and we hope to see you back home here soon. Uh, And we appreciate you coming on and talking with us here tonight. And we'll hope to talk to you again soon.
Thanks, Sam. I enjoyed it. Well, hopefully I'll be back to kick with you guys as soon as I'm allowed.
All right, we'll look forward to that. I know Coach Darren will welcome you back with open arms. As you know, I'm sure we haven't had a season here this year, but some good footy news coming out of Arizona. There's a brand new facility coming, so who knows? We might get the USAFL Nationals here in Arizona. We can only hope. But again, Danny, thank you so much for joining us here on Hop Into Australia. We hope you have a great rest of your day, and we'll hope to talk to you soon.
Thanks, Sam. See you next time.
Yep, have a great one, Danny.